So I've been welding up my, it's a rack for the back of my truck. I'll put a picture up once I get installed. But when I first tried to fit it on, it turned out that the width of it was a little bit less than what I needed. And I think it's because I tested it with the, without this cross beam right here, or cross member on. And I think I was able to stretch out the two sides of the rack, and it fit my railing on the truck. But when I welded these in, I ended up pulling this in slightly, maybe each side half an inch or something like that. Which, because I did kind of squeeze it all together, not being the best fitter in the world. But so what I've done is I've added a section here in the middle. Well, not quite in the middle. I did a little bit of an offset because I figured it a little bit off to the side would be better. So I'm just welding in one 1 inch section of tubing. So, anyways, just doing that. I tried to set it up on my table saw initially, but because of all the angles and weights on it, I was having a hard time getting it set. And I did one piece, and unfortunately, it didn't quite go in perfectly. Like, it wasn't quite level. So I'll show you. I've got some pictures of how I got this set up to do it. So so far so good. So I've got one side welded up, and I'm going to start trying to weld the rest of it. So that's the second weld. So we'll do the third one. Third weld. Lit my board on fire. The last weld, I didn't bother bracing this one. I figured if I had the three done, there's no point in bracing the very last weld. But now it'll be time to grind this all off. I want it to look smooth, like that there isn't actually a piece in there. And then that way I can also check how good my welds are. So there's the completed weld. It's all pretty good, I'd say. There's a few gouges, but that's from the grinder. I think the piece is right about there. So anyways, no more cracks in it. So there's my rack. It's installed, fits pretty good. It's a little crooked just because of that issue with the cross members, but yeah, looks not too bad. It'll work. So I'm planning to build a support for my my headache rack. I built that about a year or so ago, maybe a little longer. I forgot to tape it to put it on my YouTube channel, but it's a little on the wobbly side. It's not quite as substantial as I'd like. So I'm gonna build a rack or a brace like this, and I'm going to notch this angle and cold bend the angle to make the piece for it to match the angle. I just did this piece, and I was made a mistake in my calculation of the angles. I wanted a 45 angle, but I ended up not cutting two like a 90-degree notch in this, which so two 45s, which when you join them together makes a 90. But anyways, this is I'm going to try this out. I've never actually cold bent steel before, but it's actually looking not too bad. But this is now scrap. So the way I'm going to try to get my 45-degree is I've made two 45-degree lines right here, and then I just kind of eyeballed in the middle, figuring that's sort of my 22 and a half. I do have a speed square that I could try to do it with, but I don't really know how to use them all that well. So like, I guess I could run a ruler from, this is 90, so 22 and a half would be, I guess, 68 and a half. So like that, like stick a ruler down there, but I don't, honestly, I don't think it would give me enough accuracy anyways. But so I just did a 45, did a 45, and then something like that. Maybe I could do, I don't know. I'll think about it. So I've got, this is what kind of came of it. It's a little mangled right there. Hopefully I'll be able to clean that up with some weld pieces. I think for this end, I'm going to, rather than try to do a notch of 22 and a half and 22 and a half like that, I'm going to just do a 45. So like cut straight down on this and then do a 45 notch out like that. Maybe you missed that. Do a 45 notch. So cut straight down and then come out like that. So I realized that 90-45 isn't going to work because the hypotenuse here is going to be much longer than this. So if I cut this and fold it over, there's going to be like a not an even meet. So it's going to be back to the 22 and a half. Look at that, much better. Not quite the 45 exactly that I was hoping for. So I just got to trim a little bit in here. Kind of looks like maybe if I take a notch off of that, because I need to bring it up a touch. So, but yeah, just some minor trimming. Of course, I trimmed it too much, so this might be a little bit of a tricky repair. We'll see. So I kind of just cut out a little slice of angle on that piece of scrap, and I just sort of stuck it in there. So I'm gonna weld it in and then grind it off, and that should be good. Look at how nicely that fit right in there. I welded the back side of it, so I'll finish welding it on this side. Not great penetration with the weld though. So there's the final installation of the back rack, these supports. Turned out not too bad. The angle's a little off. This side is a little bit higher than this side, so yeah, okay. But I definitely like the strength that it gives this the headache rack is a whole bunch. And then I was giving this guy a good shake too, and like it barely even moves at all. So just the flex of the steel. So yeah, this seems to be okay. Pleased with it.